Should you play Call of Duty Black Ops 3? That is the question I want to answer in today's video. Now, whether you're playing it for the very first time or just returning to the game, I'm sure you're probably curious as to if the game is worth your time and even your money. Well, it all depends. If you plan on getting the game or returning to the game to play zombies, then I'd say yes, it's most definitely worth it because BO3 had one of, if not the greatest zombies out of any other Call of Duty, even to this day. Especially if you play on PC, because then you could play modded zombies, which allows you to play hundreds of different maps, from new maps to remade maps to even multiplayer maps. There's honestly a map for everyone to play. I'd say just the base maps alone are worth it to play the game. But if you also have access to modded zombies as well, it's a whole new experience. You could get endless hours of playtime out of modded zombies, and what's nice is the modded zombies maps are all free. You could simply just download them off of the Steam Community Hub within the workshop. So without a doubt, if you want to play zombies, then you most definitely should get or return to Call of Duty Black Ops 3 as it offers the best zombies experience currently. However, if you want to get the game for the multiplayer or the campaign, well then that's a different story. As for the campaign, it's honestly terrible in my opinion, and it's just not worth your time or money. It's not fun at all, the story is super confusing, and it has no replay value at all. You'll get only a couple hours of playtime out of it, and that's it. So please don't get this game or even return to this game if you're doing it for the campaign because it's not worth it. But the multiplayer on the other hand, well, I'd say that is a tricky question to answer. The reason being is because it all depends on what platform you're playing on and to what extent you're willing to go to be able to play it. Personally, I'm not sure what BO3 is like on console as of now, but I could probably assume that you're unable to even find a match on console, so I probably wouldn't even bother getting the game if you want to play the multiplayer on console. However, if you already own the game, you could try it and see if you're able to find a match. If you're someone who's watching this and you own BO3 on console, then feel free to comment if multiplayer is playable and if you're able to find matches currently. I tested out myself, but I don't own a console, unfortunately. Now, as for the PC side of things, when it comes to the BO3 multiplayer, I can confirm it is definitely still playable, as you could still find matches if you're willing to wait a few minutes. The thing is, there's one huge problem with the BO3 multiplayer on PC. That's the fact that the game is plagued with hackers that are not only hacking the game and giving themselves things like aimbot, walls, and even God mode, but there's also hackers who will try to hack you as well. Even though BO3 says it has an anti-cheat, unfortunately the anti-cheat does not work at all. So in other words, the BO3 multiplayer is completely unsafe to play. The chance of you getting your account hacked is extremely high, so do not play it unless you have a way to protect yourself from hackers. Unfortunately, not everyone has protection from hackers though at their disposal, but that doesn't mean that it's not possible to be able to get protection for yourself. Luckily, there's people out there who really care about BO3 and want to see people be able to play it safely. People like the YouTuber named Sirius, for example, who created something called the T7 community patch. This community patch helps to not only protect yourself while playing BO3 multiplayer, but will also help you to fix your FPS if you're having any issues with it. Plus, it also allows you to do things like spoof your name in the game as well, which is pretty cool. I'll leave a link to the video that Sirius made on the T7 community patch in the description of this video, so you're able to learn more about it and figure out how to download it for yourself. I highly recommend that if you want to play the BO3 multiplayer, then you should download the T7 community patch, as it could be the difference between you getting hacked and not getting hacked. As a warning, the T7 community patch won't guarantee you 100% protection though. Even with the T7 community patch, you still have a chance of getting hacked, so play at your own risk. But know that the T7 community patch does greatly help to protect you and make your game play a lot better. Along with the T7 community patch, I'd recommend also using a VPN as well when playing the BO3 multiplayer for extra protection. Even then, there's still a chance that you could get hacked, but the chances of it happening are much lower if you have the T7 community patch and a VPN. Other than the problem with the hackers, there's not much else wrong with the BO3 multiplayer. Really, there's only smaller stuff, like the fact that you could only really find TDM lobbies. So if you like to play objective game modes, you're kind of out of luck. Also, if you have all the DLCs for BO3, I recommend not having the DLCs for multiplayer downloaded because it will take you a lot longer to find matches. I will admit, it kind of sucks not being able to play on all the DLC maps, but you gotta take what you could get with a game this old. Additionally, because there's such a small player base on the BO3 multiplayer, a lot of the time you're playing with and against the same people. I wouldn't say this is a huge problem, but I figure it's worth mentioning. Another thing that's worth mentioning is unfortunately all of the DLC weapons are only attainable by either earning a weapon bribe contract and doing that to then get a chance to earn one of the DLC weapons at random, or you have to open a bunch of supply drops in hopes of getting one of the DLC weapons, but the drop rate for the DLC weapons is really low, so you'll have to open a lot of supply drops, which really sucks. They should have made all the DLC weapons attainable through challenges instead. It's pretty stupid that you have to gamble just to get a DLC weapon you want to use. I really wish that it wasn't like that, but there's really nothing that can be done about it now. So be warned, if you want a certain DLC weapon, just know you might never actually get it. So I know I talked about a lot of things that are bad about the BO3 multiplayer, but that doesn't mean it's all bad. There's a lot of good things about the BO3 multiplayer as well, like for example, the multiplayer is honestly really fun to play, even to this day. I genuinely have a good time playing the BO3 multiplayer, as it just feels like good old classic COD, but obviously with a crazy movement. Personally, I really like the crazy futuristic movement though, as it's done really well in the game. Having a jetpack is good for getting to high ground, or even getting on a wall to then wall run. Sometimes it could be even good to help you get to cover or win a gunfight as well. But for the most part, you're actually running around most of the time. This makes it so the jetpack is a great tool, but isn't too overly powered to where it's a problem. I think they did a great job balancing the movement in this game and making it to where everything just flows really well. Additionally, I really like that there's no skill-based matchmaking within this game. There might be some form of skill-based matchmaking, but it definitely isn't to the point of the newer COD games. This makes playing BO3 actually fun, as you're not playing against pros every match. You could actually play the game more casually and not have to sweat every single match you play, which is really nice. I hate how bad skill-based matchmaking is in newer CODs, as it can make it miserable to play the game. So playing the BO3 multiplayer is a nice change of pace. Furthermore, there's some of the most iconic and fun to use weapons in the BO3 multiplayer, like the VMP, the XMC, the M8, the Locust, and more. I truthfully like how all the weapons feel and perform in this game. I think that pretty much every weapon within the BO3 multiplayer is viable and fun to use. Obviously, there's going to be some weapons that are going to be better than others, but that doesn't mean you can't use whatever you want to. Likewise, I love how simple the create a class system was in this game. They had what was called the pick 10 system, where out of everything you would have in your class, you could only pick 10 items. So for your weapons, attachments, perks, lethals, tacticals, and wild cards, you would have to figure out a way to only take what you need so you could stay within the limit of 10. This allowed for a really balanced class system. If you wanted more attachments on your gun, then maybe you'd have to get rid of your secondary weapon or one of your perks. The same goes for if you wanted more perks, then you'd have to have less attachments and maybe no lethal or tactical. The system was overall really well made, and I think it helped to make things more fair, as now you couldn't have crazy powerful classes. It also allowed for you to be able to really tailor your class to how you wanted it to be. Moreover, I really like the different specialists you could choose from in the BO3 multiplayer. Each one has a lethal ability and a tactical ability. So for example, someone like Battery has a grenade launcher as their lethal ability and armor as their tactical ability. I think that each specialist was unique as they brought something different to the table. So there was a wide variety of different things to use, like a flamethrower, a Gatling gun, a way to go invisible, a way to clone yourself, and so much more. Finally, the last thing that is good about the BO3 multiplayer is they had the classic prestige system, as well as an additional 1000 levels to grind for. BO3 was also the first game where you were able to earn a mastery camo for getting gold and diamond on all the weapons. The mastery camo is the beloved Dark Matter, which is one of, if not, the best mastery camo ever. So needless to say, there's a lot to grind for in BO3, which personally I really like and I appreciate, as I love to grind for stuff. In conclusion, if you're thinking about getting BO3 or returning to BO3, then really it all depends on what you want to play in BO3. If you want to play zombies, then 100% get BO3 or return to it because zombies is incredibly fun. Especially if you're on PC, because then you can play modded zombies, which just makes the zombies experience even better. On the other hand, if you want to buy BO3 or return to it for the campaign, in my opinion, it's not worth it. Honestly, the campaign sucks in BO3 as it's not that fun and the story is super confusing. Also, it's only a few hours long, so you really won't get much out of it. Finally, if you want to get BO3 or return to it for the multiplayer, then please be cautious. While I can't speak for console, I know on PC, you could still definitely find matches in multiplayer. However, there's so many hackers playing the game that are not only hacking the game, but are trying to hack you, that you need some sort of protection against them. Luckily, as I said, there's the T7 community patch that you could download, so you could boost your protection and even help out with your game performance. I would also advise using a VPN as well, as that can help to boost your protection too. Overall, the BO3 multiplayer is super fun, and for me personally is one of, if not my favorite Call of Duty games. So I think if you understand the risk of playing the multiplayer, and you're willing to take that risk, then you'll definitely have fun playing the BO3 multiplayer. Even if you have both the T7 community patch and a VPN, there's still a chance that you could get hacked. So please be warned and know that unfortunately the BO3 multiplayer is unsafe to play. While I do love the multiplayer, I can't 100% recommend playing it. But if you really do want to take the risk, then again, please use the T7 community patch and a VPN, as they will help you to not get hacked, because it seriously is a real threat. Anyhow, that's it for me. What's your opinion on Call of Duty Black Ops 3? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful at all, then please give the video a like. And if you want more content like this, then please subscribe. Have a great day.